Hello friends, welcome to another Facebook Live class or YouTube if you see it over there as well. We are going to have a really nice beginner mat Pilates class. And I've labeled this a 2 chili pepper class out of 5. And just to review what that means, if you have no idea, it's kind of a milder intensity class. So we're going to be going through some of the foundations of this style of movement, this mind-body practice of Pilates. We'll go through some of the basics. We'll move slowly and mindfully through some more gentle movements based on Pilates style of movement, and just open up our bodies softly. So if you're brand new to Pilates, this is totally appropriate. It's also really appropriate for anyone who wants to gently move their body and breathe and feel better. So I don't want you to think that these chili pepper levels are something to achieve and go towards one place that is better than the other, because they're all good. And we need variety in our wellness practices. So some days you might need something more gentle, and other days you might be ready to move and kind of get things flowing in a more intense way. All of them are great. The priority is that you listen to yourself and know what you need from time to time. And that's really how you build a safe and effective wellness program. So I have labeled it a 2 because we are down on the floor. So for some people, getting up and down from the floor is just not doable, or they're not comfortable with it. For those people, I would steer you towards one of the chair classes in the library, and use a chair to do all kinds of things and really take great care of your body and feel safe. So that's another option. So what I have set up is I have an open space of carpet. You don't have to have a yoga mat, but I have a small blanket that's going to go at the top of my head when I'm lying on my back. So the reason I like to do this for a Pilates practice is because it gives the back of your head just a little bit of a lift, and for your upper spine, that puts you in a good anatomical position. It's a small thing, but to me it's a big thing. So feel free to put a little blanket back there. Notice how that feels at your neck. For some people, it feels so much better than being flat on the floor with the back of your head pressing against that firm surface. So play with that. We are going to be on our backs maybe for the whole time today. I haven't decided yet if we'll roll onto our bellies or not. We'll see as we go. But I want to start in this position with your knees bent, your hips relaxed into the floor, and your arms relaxed down by your sides. And let's just go through what Pilates focuses on, some of the real targets and goals and things to remember as we go. First of all, let's talk about the core. So a lot of people think of the core as being just your abdominal muscles, and you need to strengthen your abdominals, when in fact the core is speaking about that whole section from really your lower ribs all the way to your upper thighs, all the way around your body. So you can think of a nice big band. And this area of your body is really kind of the central powerhouse, so to speak. So as we increase awareness and stabilize this area, as we move our arms and our legs and our head, we're increasing the stability of the center of our body, so that when we get up on our feet and move around, we're safer and we have more endurance, and we can move better from that center of our body as the control of our body. All right? So that's the core. Next, let's talk about the breath connecting to everything that we do. So every position that we go into is going to be like a flow back and forth. Nothing is really held or put into place and locked there, definitely. This is a back and a forth graceful movement exercise where your breath is just as much a part of that movement as any part of your body is. So I'll be guiding you through when to inhale and when to exhale. And the great thing about that is, number one, you'll breathe better and you'll breathe more fully. So increasing the amount of air you're bringing in and then letting out, all right? And secondly, you won't forget to breathe because it's actually part of the exercise. And that's what I see so much is when people get into a class and they're learning something new, they tend to hold their breath or breathe very shallow. So this is going to really help us to move well and to connect that breath with all of our movements, okay? All right, so let's start by focusing on this area of the core, and we're going to start to tilt the core or the pelvis a little bit in a front and back direction. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving. Sometimes I exaggerate my movement so that visually you can see better. Don't feel like you've got to make your movements as large as mine. I really want you to feel this in your body. So as I roll the pelvis forward, that lower back is going to separate from the floor a little bit more. I can slide my hand under here and there's space between my lower back and the floor. When you roll your pelvis backwards, you erase that space and your lower back is making contact with the floor. So I want you to just go back and forth between those two places, tilting the pelvis backward and then tilting the pelvis forward, and get a feel for what's making that happen and what that movement feels like. And now we're going to connect the breath to it. So as you tilt backwards, breathe in. And as you tilt any amount forward, breathe out. We're going to do this a few times. Breathe in and tilt backward. And breathe out to roll it forward. So I'm going to start using the word roll some. Feel like maybe it's a bit of a massage back and forth for this whole core area. And maybe notice that the abdominals are turning on as you tilt backward. And some of our lower back muscles are turning on as we tilt forward. So you're getting that awareness of the whole wraparound core or powerhouse as you go. A few more like this. Take a deep breath in as you roll back. And exhale as you roll forward. And if you can comfortably place your hands on your lower ribs, then you can get some more feedback about those large breaths. You really ideally want your rib cage to open out to the side and then come back together a bit. And again, I'm exaggerating. Maybe your ribs don't go out as far as mine. But any amount of expansion as you inhale and then relax as you exhale. Let's do this 2 more times. Tilting the pelvis back. And then tilting the pelvis forward. All right, coming into center, relax the core. Notice where your lower back naturally rests, because we've just done a lot of changing
between its relationship with the floor. So without any action happening from the core, notice where your lower back rests. And with that lower back resting, abdominals resting, we're going to gently roll the knees over to one side. Let that lower spine rotate as the knees go. And then coming back through center, same thing off to the other side. Let that lower spine rotate. So this is a nice way to stretch out the core. And we'll find about 3 of these kinds of stretches to return to in between our core movements. So these might be kind of your home bases to return to at any time you need to. If you need a break, just stop and go into rotating these knees a little side to side, or the other 2 that I'll teach you along the way. One more time, rolling the knees over to one side. And then we're going to come back into our neutral position, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And what we're going to do now is we're going to place the lower back towards the floor. So we are going into that pelvic tilt backwards, rolling back, and we're erasing that space between our lower back and the floor. And this is a nice, safe position. As we go into some work to strengthen the core, you want to keep that lower back meeting the floor. You can even imagine that there's some glue that has glued your lower back into the mat. Okay? We're going to maintain that, which means your abdominals are awake. You can feel those lower back muscles engaging the mat. All right? And we're going to go into our first leg movement here. So we're going to draw the right knee about halfway towards the chest. Nothing changes at your core. It's just a movement from the hip, and then place it down. Same thing on the left side. Draw that left knee halfway in towards the chest, and then place that foot down on the floor. And we're going to go back and forth here with our breath. Breathe in for that little halfway march. Breathe out to lower down. Breathe in, march. Breathe out to place it down. Again, nothing's changing at the pelvis. That core is nice and stable, glued at your lower back to the mat. Again, breathe in to march. Exhale to place that foot down. Let's do 2 more sets. Breathe in to march. Exhale to place. Breathe in, nice and loose within that hip joint. So there's no strain, there's no stress. It's a beautiful, gentle range for within your hip. Last time. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. All right, here's our second go-to stretch. We're going to relax the whole core. Drop both knees open to the sides. And we're going to hang in this butterfly stretch. My lower back is loose. My abdominals are relaxed. This is just chilling out. My knees go really far out to the side, so I'm hypermobile in my hip joints. Don't think that this is normal. Normal is somewhere around here, all right? But you may be up here. Wherever your knees rest, relax and breathe, okay? If you go into this butterfly position and it's uncomfortable for your hips, then just return to that previous stretch of rolling your knees gently side to side, okay? I'm gonna stay here for about 3 deep breaths with you. Make sure that whole core has really turned off and you're relaxing. You don't want to keep holding tension or keep working. When you're done with an exercise, you need that dynamic of stretching out, letting it go. Good. I'm going to draw my knees back into that center position. Remember, in your neutral position, your feet aren't close and your knees are not squeezed together. They're in line with your hips. So there's separation between your feet and your knees in this neutral position. All right, let's go to our next exercise. Same start position. You're rolling your pelvis backward and you're gluing that lower back to the mat, and the abdominals are turning on, and that lower back around the waistline, everything is awake and you're paying attention to it. As we start to move the legs more now, if you feel that lower back rolling forward, becoming unglued to the mat, you know you've done too much with your legs. Back up, glue that lower back down, and make your legs smaller, okay? All right. So from here, we're gonna return to that halfway march of the knee towards the chest. And then we're gonna lengthen that leg forward so that it stretches out long and our knees are at about the same level, left and right. And then we're gonna bring that leg right back into that march. Nothing's changed at the pelvis. And then place that right foot down. So we've just added one piece to our marching side to side. Same thing on the left. March the left knee halfway into the chest. And then lengthen it out nice and long, like your toes are reaching the wall in front of you. And then bring it back into that halfway march and place the foot down on the floor. We're going to go back and forth here. Breathe in to march. Exhale to lengthen that leg out. Breathe in to ease it back in. And then exhale to place it down. If you want to put a hand on that belly for some feedback, just to make sure you're nice and stable here, feel free to do that. Extend, the core stays stable. Draw it back in halfway towards the chest. And then place that foot down. We have 3 more sets here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Remember, your shoulders are relaxed. There's no tension in your upper body. This is just the core working. And that's really it. Because remember, part of the core is the upper thigh. That quad is lengthening out. The lower leg can be relaxed. March it in. And place it down. Here's our last set. Right knee halfway towards the chest. And then take your time, nice and smooth, lengthening that leg out. A lot of Pilates is about this slow, smooth, coordinated movement, so we're not jerky. We're not using momentum. We're really paying attention to the whole movement. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And place that foot down, rest. Now here's our third stretch that we can go to and play with. We're going to lengthen one leg at a time out long on the floor, and then send the arms up overhead. We're going into a nice long body stretch. So you can reach the fingers away from the body, reach the heels away from the body. Make yourself 6 feet tall, and then just drop and relax into the floor. Take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe give your legs a little wiggle and a little shake. Turn the head a little bit side to side. Then gently returning the arms back where they came from. Bending one knee at a time back into our neutral position. Again, feet have a little separation, knees have a little separation. And we're ready for our next exercise. All right, so we're gonna start with that same roll of the pelvis backward. Lower back is glued to the floor. We're gonna work our upper body next. So the feet stay on the floor, they're relaxed. You can even check and just spread your toes a little bit. Make sure they're not tensing. Your ankles are relaxed, your knees are relaxed. All right? From here, keeping that lower back rounded, we're going to start to roll the head up and forward, looking towards our knees. The shoulders follow if you're comfortable with that. The fingers reach forward, and then we reverse that direction. Relaxing the arms down, relaxing the shoulders down, and gently placing the head down. Everything turns off and relaxes when you place things down on the floor except for that core. So the lower back is always stable. The abdominals are awake and working throughout. All right, here we go again. Rolling the head up and forward, shoulders follow, fingers reach, and then reverse. Relax the arms, relax the shoulders, relax the head. Let's connect the breath. Breathing in to roll your way up, and breathing out to roll your way down. Again, breathing in as you roll up, reach, and breathing out as you roll down. Rest if you need to. This is maybe more contraction at the front of your neck than you're used to. So this takes some getting used to. After you do a few and you feel like you're done, then rest. I'm going to do 2 more here. Rolling up and reaching forward. Relaxing down. Make sure those shoulders really turn off. And let's do 1 more. Roll the head up. Reach forward. Relax down. And return to relaxing all of the core, everything. Let's go back to that little roll of the knees. Any amount side to side. Let that lower spine go ahead, twist and rotate. So we're releasing any tension that may have accumulated in that core. Really relax and breathe here. One more time each side. Rolling the knees over. And last time. Good. Awesome. All right. Well, let's do 1 more Pilates movement here on our back, and then we're going to roll onto our tummy for 1 exercise as well. So same starting position. This is going to be another leg exercise, leaving our heads down on the floor, setting up that core in that nice safe position. Lower back grounded into the mat, abdominals awake, arms resting down by your side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ease that right knee halfway towards the chest, hold it there, and then very gently ease the left leg up to meet it. So you have two legs with your knees halfway towards your chest. This is called tabletop. The lower legs are parallel to the ceiling. Your feet are gently meeting. You have an option of gently meeting your knees together or keeping a space between your knees if that feels better to you. All right? So we're holding this tabletop position, and as we breathe in, we're going to float the feet up towards the sky any amount, and then we're going to lower right back down where we came from to that tabletop. Again, breathe in, stretch the legs out any amount. And exhale, return to tabletop. Remember, your shoulders are easy. So if this has gotten a little bit more challenging for you, make sure you're not holding your breath and your shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Yeah, slow and smooth. Coordinated movement back and forth. This is great for your core and for your upper thighs. Breathe in. And breathe out. Just because something is slow doesn't mean it's not effective. Trust me. Okay? Breathe in, reach. And breathe out, lower. When we're moving slowly like this, we can really pay attention to where our body is, what's moving and how is it moving, and if that core is nice and stable and safe. So moving slowly has so many advantages as we safely work on strength and flexibility. And you don't have to get your knees all the way straight here. So let me go ahead and show you. If sending those feet up to about here feels like all you want to go, then reverse the direction and come back down. Our bodies are all different, okay? So if you have some tight hamstrings and they won't let your knees extend any more than here, that's okay. Go to your extension and then reverse back down to tabletop. We're going to do 3 more. Unless you're ready to rest, then gently place your feet back down on the floor into neutral. And returning to tabletop. 2 more to go. Breathe in, reach. And breathe out, lower. And once more, breathe in. And breathe out. From here, let's hug both knees gently towards the chest. Open the knees apart a little bit. Let that lower back lengthen and stretch out. So here's number 4. A 4th home base stretch position is right here. And if you're comfortable rolling a little bit back and forth, this might feel like a beautiful massage at this point. You want the lower back to really lengthen and relax. Abdominals relaxed. Shoulders easy. Floating back and forth. Relaxing the hips. And then coming out of this one leg at a time. So keep holding one knee, while the opposite foot coasts down to the floor. Then when you have support through that first foot, you can send the second leg down. Just a nice, kind way to treat your lower back. All right? Let's roll onto our bellies before our time has escaped us. Take your time rolling over. You can send that blanket away from you a little bit here. We're going to be flat on our bellies. I'm going to have one hand over the other hand, and I'm going to rest my forehead right down on top of my palms. All right, if that's not comfortable, you can bring that blanket and fold it once more and rest your forehead on that blanket. All right, so from this position, we're going to go ahead and gently tilt the pelvis in that same safe position that we used when we were lying on our backs. So if you tilt the pelvis backward, what you're doing to your lower back is you're lengthening it. My lower back just got long and kind of flat. When I relax, my lower back arches and my belly sinks into the floor. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at rolling the pelvis back, flattening out that lower spine, and then relaxing and dropping the belly into the floor. So let's do this a few times. It's just the same pelvic tilt, but now we're in this new position of prone on our bellies. And then drop it forward, relax. 2 more times. Rolling the pelvis back. That lower back lengthens, the abdominals are working. And then relax and drop the belly into the floor. All right, now we're gonna do that one more time and hold it in that position. So your abdominals contract, your lower back is long. From here, we're gonna start a really gentle swimming motion with our legs. So this is a beginner swim where one leg, and I'll use my right leg first, is just gonna reach out and a tiny bit up, and then lower right back down to the floor. And I'm maintaining that long lower back as I go. Same thing on the left. This is not about lifting your leg high. This is about keeping that pelvis nice and stable, and then lengthening and lifting a tiny bit off the floor with the leg. We're breathing in as we float one leg up. Breathing out to gently place it down. The abdominals stay awake and working. Again, breathe in. Small lift. Exhale down. And breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. And 2 more to go here. Reach the leg long. Really think of that leg reaching away from your body more than a lift. So you're just stretching and lengthening that leg out. And then relax back down. Good. Let's relax that core. Crawl your way up onto your elbows into this little Sphinx pose, and we're just going to relax that lower back. So we put it in a nice short position here, and let's rock a little side to side. Nice stretch, nice break here for those muscles. Easy shoulders. And then crawling your way all the way back down onto your chest. I'm going to draw that blanket underneath my head and turn my head to one side, bending one knee at a time so that our feet are just floating in the air. Now we're going to do an upside down version of rocking our knees side to side. We're going to rock our feet a little off to one side. Let that lower spine just rotate and follow the feet. And then ease the feet back up through center and send them over to the other side. Let the lower spine roll and twist. You can think of this like a windshield wiper move at your feet. You don't have to go as slow as I'm going. If it feels better at a slightly different speed, feel free to do that. And remember, you can let those hips roll with it. You don't have to hold anything stable here. This is a stretch. This is all just free movement. Back and forth. Good. And then bringing the feet back into neutral, relaxing the feet down to the floor. We're going to roll onto the back for one more breathing pattern here. Take your time, finding the same neutral position that we came from. Relaxing the core here. Relaxing the arms down by your sides. This time turning your palms face up. With those feet at hip width apart, let's drop the knees gently to rest together. And we're going to breathe right here. This time we're going to do some belly breathing. So this is a little bit different than sending your rib cage out to the side like we practiced previously. This is called lateral breathing. When your ribs open out. Now, when we move towards belly breathing, when we take a deep breath in, let's float the belly any amount up. You can place a hand over your stomach for a little more feedback. So what we're doing here is we're contracting the diaphragm and then relaxing the diaphragm. So this is a really nice deep breathing pattern. You don't have to breathe as deeply as I am. Your stomach may have just barely a rise. That's totally fine. As you practice these breathing patterns, you'll grow in them just like anything else. Breathe in. And out. 2 more times. Breathe in. And out. And here's our last time. Breathe in. And out. And that's it. That is our beginner Pilates mat class. I hope that felt really good to your body. I hope you just enjoyed it. And that's a goal that's totally appropriate for any class that you take. It should be something you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, look for another one. All right. I hope you have a great day. This will be stored on our Facebook page at Arts and Wellness of Edenton or on the YouTube page where you found it. Have a super day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.